Hi, living in Boulder Vlog, October 29th, 2019, Tuesday at 8:01 in the morning, and been up all night working. I think I'm gonna go to sleep pretty soon, getting kind of groggy. It's the light out and everything, good time to sleep. Can't remember I think yesterday when I did my video, it was in the morning time. And I was talking about how I was doing both law code as well as aqueducts of Rome. I was saying that I was super jazzed about doing aqueducts of Rome because I was excited to see about what it would look like when I'd made the aqueduct go across the hills of Rome. From the Kylian to the Palatine. So that's what I did yesterday. I got up kind of late because it was like super cold and I was just sleeping like sleepy. Oh, it's extra cozy when it's cold. When it's cold, your face has lots of nerves in it, and if your face gets cold, it shuts down your metabolism, and that's why it's easy to sleep in when it's cold out. Like people can survive underwater too. When the water's cold. So lost where I was. So I got up yesterday and then I went over to my mom's house. And I drove my car over there. She had some food, had some dinner over there, helped her with some stuff with my brother. And then came back here and my fucking car is all fucked up again. Last year, my mom insisted that I get my car fixed, and I was like, leave me alone. She's like, get it fixed. I'm like, no, because the only thing that was wrong with it was the lock on the passenger side door wasn't activating, but you could pull it up and push it down with your hand. It was fine, and everything else of the car worked fine. And so the lock, I think it did, including the back. But I took it into the mechanic, and to help to fix the windshield wiper and that one lock. And I'm like, bitch, if you want me to fucking get my car fixed, you fucking call. So she calls the goddamn mechanic, and she's like, you have to bring the car in on Tuesday. I'm like, all right, fine, dude. So I bring it in. Mechanic has it 2.5 months. My mom is the one who keeps calling him because I didn't give a shit. So they call, and the guy was like really grumpy, and then he went out of business after that. But charged me $1,500 to fix those. Anyway, freaking thing breaks, and now it's worse than before. Yesterday, now I have to leave on the passenger side and the driver's side. It insists on staying down. You can't bring it up at all. So I have to leave through the sliding door, and that won't even lock at all. So it's a total disaster. And now when I try to drive my car, the fucking horn won't shut up, which is totally embarrassing. So you can't drive it because it's like the whole time. So I don't know if I can take a fuse out. I'll go and look in my manual book and see if there's a fuse having to do with the horn, and maybe I could just take that fuse out. But also, the fuse, when I got the car back last year, when that guy had it 2.5 months, all the fuses were out from the inside lights. None of my inside lights worked, and they worked fine when I brought it in. And so I'm going to take it into this mechanic at the beginning of the month when I get money and see if I can get him to just fix my car. Fucking fix it. Maybe I thought I had him fix the horn before. I don't know, but god damn. The last time he fixed it was that when I turned the key, it wouldn't turn on. But I guess that was the starter. Anyway, then I worked all night long, and so when I started working, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. The Google Earth of Rome, and I think maybe at the beginning of the day I was working on my my Dreamweaver, and I was doing it a little bit, and then I was like, wait, I gotta stop this. I want to do the Rome, so I started doing the Rome, and I was doing the aqueduct, and I realized that on the aqueduct I had it on the wrong path. on the part before that goes to the Kylian Hill, because I don't know what happened. There was the map there that showed where it was, but I guessed it, and I thought maybe that was the wrong spot, because maybe I forgot that there was a map there, or maybe I was trying to do the map and I couldn't, because the big Roman map, it works differently than a normal image overlay. Somebody put it on, or it's super huge over the whole city, and it fits it perfectly. It's in sections, but sometimes if you don't have internet, it turns into a bunch of these red squares and you can't use it, or it doesn't show up at all. And maybe it was one of those where I wasn't able to use it, and I went ahead and built the aqueduct. I don't know, but anyways, I had to take all those away and then rebuild it along the real right path from the map, and then which isn't so far away from the real aqueduct, maybe like 5 feet, and so I got to the part where the aqueduct goes over Palatine Hill, and I went, okay, so how high? I had to decide. I took the aqueduct from the top of the temple of the Kylian Hill, and I went like halfway across, and then I wanted to go from the top of the Palatine Hill across and see if I could find like a good height. And when I got to the Palatine, I said, okay, so how high does this Palatine have to be? Because I realized that my work at the Palatine was super basic, like more basic than I remember. So I decided that I had to know how high it was, and then I was like, wait, let me just build the Palatine. So I decided to go ahead and build the Palatine. I remember yesterday when I was estimating how long it would take to do all this work, I figured it would take about a week per section of Rome, and there's 14 sections. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if I work on the Palatine for a week, I should definitely finish it. I think the Palatine's the smallest of all of the sections. It's just like one palace. And so, and same thing with the a lot of the sections, like the Circus Maximus is just the Circus Maximus, that one building. So I definitely should finish that in a week. So yeah, you know what? I'm like super fired up to work in the actual city of Rome. Before I went into here, I was like, I got to do the aqueduct, but now I'm like, wait, let me just do the palace, because once I do the palace, that's like the most fascinating for me. Once I do the palace, I could then put the aqueduct over it, and see how it, and then do the aqueduct, the entire length of the aqueduct, and the aqueduct across the hillside, because I'm really curious to see how good I can make it. Because building stuff with the polygon tool on Google Earth has its limitations. For example, like when I'm trying to make the aqueduct, when you build something on Google Earth, you can build buildings that go up and down, and the roofs are flat. But with an aqueduct, if you're building a bridge or an aqueduct, you have to have it, realistic, so it goes over the earth. You can't have it going all the way to the earth the entire time. But if you're going to sever, in Google Earth, if you're going to sever a polygon's connection with the ground, all of a sudden the rules change, and it doesn't keep a flat top anymore like it does when it's connected to the ground, which means that that if you're, drawing an aqueduct that's not connected to the ground over undulating terrain, your aqueduct is going to undulate with the terrain, and it's not going to look realistic. So the way that I made it was I broke it up into sections of 10 meters. So it's so many different sections, but it's going to look good when it's done, because it's not only is it's slivers of 10 meters, but the aqueduct is in 3 different sections wide. I mean, you can download it now, by the way. Go to my Google download section for history, and go to Italy page, Italy part of the page, and go to like the sections of Rome, and it's section 10, the palace, Palantium. You can download it now, because I just did a test download and it worked. And you can see what I'm talking about. But I have it super detailed, because it's in slivers of 10 meters, and it's only a meter wide, because I have the sides, which is a meter, and then the water's a meter, and then the other side's a meter. So 10 meters long, and then a meter wide out of 3 meters. So it's, so in 1 10 meters, it's 3 different. And then there's one below that I do of the whole section, so that it makes it look gives it depth, makes it look realistic. And so it's a lot of work. But I have it in 10 meter sections, because when it undulates, I can then adjust the height for every 10 meters. So even if it's going down, like the part that's going down, it's going to be at that angle, which will look awkward. But if you piece it all together, from a distance, I'm hoping that it'll look good. And I was kind of looking at it a little bit, and it did look like it'll look good, So that's exciting. That's promising. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm yawning a lot. I'm getting a little bit tired, so I should probably lie down and take a little bit of a nap, or at least give it a try, or at least for a little bit, and then maybe I can get back up again and yeah, do the palace again. Once I'm done with, so what I'm doing with the palace, and as you can see, if you wanted to download it, I can't put the link to the download on Google on my website. I don't know how to do that. I mean, on below on YouTube, I don't know how to do that. Like the tiny URL doesn't work that way for KMZ files. So, but actually, what I could do though, and what I will do, is I could put the link below to the section of my website where the download is. I can send it people exactly there, and so you go there and then you click download. That's what I'll do. So what I'm doing now is I'm coloring the pillars, because when I finished, I was really smart. When I finished all of the sections of the of Rome, Google Earthing, I finished it at a good hopping point where it's really easy to start up again, and it's really exciting to start up again. So what I did is I already took care of all of the tedious part of it, which is to just trace. I just traced and traced it. I don't even know how long. I just traced and traced and traced and traced for frickin' ever. I mean, obviously, as you can see how much it is. And then I just dumped it there. So when I went back and looked, I saw all of this trace stuff that had no color, no height, just really generic and basic, saying, please come and finish me. And it's like, okay, because in just a little bit of time, I could make it look really good. Like in just a little bit of time. It took me a while in the beginning because it was really slow. So I restarted my computer and it started being fast again. But yeah, I was programming and different colors for all of the different pillars. I think my pillars are going to be, oh wow, I've talked for 12 minutes already. I think my pillars are going to be really bright colors, and my floors and walls are going to be kind of dark, earthy colors, and kind of try to make that consistent. And then the floor kind of maybe generally a white. Oh, maybe so. Then I don't want my pillars to be white because I had a bunch of pillars that were white. Oh shit. Or maybe the pillars that are white, the floor won't be white. And then I'll figure out exactly what I want to do later. I mean, if I wanted to be really intricate, I could have it color-coded for the meaning of the buildings. Maybe I'll do that later, but that would come later. That's complicated. For now, I just want to make sure everyone's different. Yeah, and then so tomorrow when I get up, I'll do the heights, make the heights adjusted. All of the buildings are colored, and yeah, and then do the aqueduct and then do the aqueduct across, and then I'll do the Kylian section, yeah, and then I'll do all the sections, because now I'm on a roll, right? After I colorize the Palantium and I make it look good, I go, holy shit, look how good that is, and I go, well, let's do the same with all the other stuff that I did. So I'll do the same with all the other detailed stuff that I built, and then that'll motivate me to finish it. I have to fill in all these big blank areas with buildings because the map didn't cover that, and so I'll take like the apartments of Pellegrini, and I'll just put a bunch of those. And I think I did prep that for the section of 11, and just yeah, you can trace those in kind of cookie cutter style and fill up the whole city. So we'll see. But yeah, I uploaded it to the internet so you can check it out now. Yeah, and if you want, I'm super motivated. Like tomorrow, I remember when I started on the U.S. Law Code, I was like, oh, you know what, U.S. Law Code 1 week until Sunday, which was like yesterday. Well, maybe I should just don't dedicate this whole week to only Google Earthing Rome, because if I do that, I could get really far ahead in Google Earthing Rome on the colorize everything, make it look more realistic and bring it up to snuff really far after a week, and then maybe I could be like, okay, now let's do that double thing where you do the law code and the Google Earthing of Rome at the same time. So yeah, but I'm yeah, dude, when this Rome is done, it's gonna look really good with my movies too. Sometimes it's too heavy, it's too much for the computer to handle. Like stuff's in the wrong place. Sometimes it hovers like a whole kilometer above the ground and the crazy stuff, but if it's too heavy for me for it to work with the video movie, when I want to do my YouTube videos, I'll just have to break it up into specific sections, and have the only part that's actually open on Google Earth, the part that I'm looking at, and I'll figure it out. It won't. I don't think it'll be too time consuming and complicated to do it. And then, of course, maybe the next generation of computers will be able to handle the entire file. So, okay, so that's enough talking. As far as listening, I wasn't listening to watch hanging around, not listening to anything, listening to music. But right before I did this video, I was listening to this guy lecturing about evolution again. Finally listening to that. And I was listening a little bit of Montesquieu, but I was more kind of tripping out on this and kind of pressured to work on this and stuff. And so, anyways, that's enough speaking. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow.